welcome back to our Walking Dead reviews. This week it is Season 8, Episode 13, Do Not Send Us Astray. As usual, I am here with Jason.
Rawr, I'm a zombie.
There it is. That's what happens when he doesn't get his coffee.
Yep.
Not too bad, though. Not too bad.
I took an arrow to the knee. It turns out it was coated in walker blood.
Yeah, that's actually pretty meta. I'm going to just leave that alone. I'm just going to leave that alone and let people take that one in. I can't add to that. So episode 13, do not send us astray. Jason, what did you think? Overall feelings of this week's episode?
It was kind of a letdown after the awesomeness that was the Negan versus Rick showdown in last week's episode. Like, it was exciting to see that Negan's evil, diabolical plan worked. And, you know, the concept of biological warfare using walkers was a very viable plan. Not that that's a huge surprise, but it was nice to see how the show incorporated it. But the fighting overall was not, you know, anything to write home about. It wasn't the great conflict that I was hoping for, you know?
Right, yeah.
It was not the Helm's Deep of The Walking Dead.
No, I agree. Overall, I kind of walked away from this one like, that was all right, but I definitely think it was overshadowed by last week's episode. And, I mean, we've had this, I don't know if they intended it to come across like this, but they've had this build-up for, the Saviors coming to the hilltop since the season has returned. And so it's kind of felt like this big build-up, and that was the fight. And it was like, oh, okay, that's it.
Yep.
Everyone's shooting like stormtroopers now, man. This is getting ridiculous. Everyone's a freaking stormtrooper in the show. This is dumb.
It's crazy. They've definitely gotten more campy with the shooting since over the course of the seasons. I remember when they firefights used to actually kill people. You remember those times?
I remember Shane teaching Andrea how to shoot a gun.
Yeah, there was that too.
I mean, we've seen this stuff. We watched somebody go from novice to sharpshooter in the show, and that's a shame. I've always hated the fact that Andrea went in how she did. But yeah, anyways, it's pretty stupid, and I don't think shooting a gun is as easy as most people feel and think that it is. I've done plenty of target practice myself.
All of my gun experience comes from video games and television. So
yeah.
I think it's exactly as easy as I think it is. You point the gun and it goes blam, blam, blam all over the place.
No, all over the place though is the key. All over the place and not usually on the target. It does take talent, but I mean these people have been living in the apocalypse for a couple years now, 2+ years. A lot of them we know are good shots, and it's kind of ridiculous. They did shoot some people, but not. But I think they should have gotten a lot more considering the trap, which was a really good trap.
Using the bus was definitely ingenious.
Yeah, everybody, both sides had good tactics. Very interesting. Speaking of the tactics here that were used by the Saviors with the walker guts and everything on the weapons, I don't believe it turned everybody. I think there were a few people that did not turn.
Tara got hit with an arrow from Dwight, and wasn't all of their arrowheads supposed to be infected? But by the end of the episode, Tara was totally fine.
Well, okay, so you're jumping right into it. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about. So, what do you think about that?
It felt like that bothered me. Was the inconsistency? Either the tactics should have worked completely, as the show has indicated before. Any exposure to walker juices should infect you. But now it just felt like it was turning random people, like you get hit, you have a 50-50 chance. Flip the coin, you live or die.
Well, okay, so I mean, not a couple of weeks ago we kind of ran across, we went in depth as to how this works with the walkers and bites
in the comics
and such. Well, no, and with the show too. In fact, we found quite a bit of inconsistency in the show. But let me say a couple things. There have been a few times when we've had cast members with open wounds who have gotten walkers touching their wounds, or not biting them, but getting possibly getting stuff into their wounds, and nothing really bad has happened. And that being said, we've had situations with Father Gabriel. I actually find it a little bit more realistic that's not working on everybody. It's not like tag you're it, which with a zombie bite is one thing, but with a weapon, with dried guts from a day in the sun, and sometimes it's going to lose its potency. It's going to go through maybe some armor, maybe some clothes, maybe it's not a very good hit. And following with the inconsistencies they're giving us in the show, maybe someone just gets sick like Father Gabriel, or maybe they full on turn.
All right. Well, you've clearly thought this out way more than I did. I was.
Well, okay. So now let me talk specifically about Dwight and Tara. Do you think Dwight meant to kill Tara?
I don't know, because obviously I think Tara is going to be Dwight's sort of his way out. If Tara can convince Daryl not to murder Dwight, then Dwight's got his way out of the Saviors and back into Rick's group. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But otherwise, I think we're going to get Daryl, because Daryl is now, at the end of the episode, definitely out for blood.
Yeah, I don't really, here's the thing. By the way, kind of cheesy, the machine gun on the motorcycle. I know that's been a real thing in the past, but you can't conveniently just find those kind of things or rig those things. I get and accept Daryl rebuilding a bike because he was around bikes and everything. I accept that wholeheartedly, but rigging it and balancing it for a machine gun, no.
Two very different things.
Yeah, that's a little cheese, and that's one of several cheesy things from this week's episode, which actually really brought it down for me. Not that as a whole, but all the cheesiness. So I think Dwight shot Tara to save her.
To stop Simon.
To save her. I think he took it as an opportunity to try to save her life.
Yeah, and that was the vibe that I sort of got from the whole situation, because he had a very clear shot. Mm-hmm. And unless he was doing some serious stormtrooper shooting, which is also a distinct possibility given this show.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't get the feel that he was intending to kill her and then whiffed it.
Yeah. So, but it was kind of cool to see. This week's episode had a bit of a horror vibe to it with the way the walkers came up. Very, very old school zombie, very old school Walking Dead. Just have walkers come out of nowhere and just start eating people.
Yeah, that was nice. It felt like we were going back a couple of seasons.
Yeah. So no, that was cool. Disappointed we saw nothing of the Saviors after they left. And a couple days went by, and I don't mean this in a critical way. A couple days going by in The Walking Dead is actually kind of a big deal, and sometimes it is half a season. But they just leave, and we don't see or hear anything about the Saviors at that point.
Well, we haven't heard anything from Negan either. He just vanished off the map with Garbage Girl.
Well, did you see the trailer for next week?
No, I did not.
Okay, he's a little literally tied up. So
okay.
Yeah, they showed him very briefly at the end of the trailer for next week. She had him tied to something, rolling him around somewhere in the garbage home there.
Okay, so then moving on to the Saviors, you want to talk about the Simon and his he's gone off the rails. We pretty much anticipated this. But, he's no longer even swayed by the concept of Negan's wrath. He just blows Dwight off. He's like, I don't care about Negan.
Cheesy thing that I noticed for the show this week, number 2, Simon instantly has his own leather jacket now.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that?
I did not notice that. I assume he stole one of Negan's, though.
It's not even. That's the whole thing. I mean, this is if you work in production and stuff, you catch on these things. Maybe, and I'm not saying that no one else would have noticed it, but I noticed it right away. And it's not. It's a crappy leather jacket. It's kind of a tacky one. It's not a cool leather jacket like Negan's, but it's like boom. He's the leader now. He's wearing or he thinks he's the leader now. He's wearing a leather jacket. It's like, where did that come from? Is that like the Saviors thing? Our leader wears the leather jacket?
I just love the concept that like Simon either took the time to go out and find himself a leather jacket in the middle of all this. He like went out and scavenged for one, or B, he ordered some of his soldiers to go do it for him. He was like, "Hey, y'all need to go find me a leather jacket."
He never wore a leather jacket before. He ran his own station. He ran the satellite station. He never, he had his own group. He never wore the leather jacket before. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did. If I'm wrong, somebody point it out, please, in the comments. Yeah, but Simon, I still, I think the difference is that the actor is doing a great job with the character, and I am loving Simon, and I'm just loving the whole dynamic.
Yeah, I definitely get that. The actor really puts forth that crazy persona.
No.
Like him and the actor for Negan really get that sort of psychotic persona down very well. Two different kinds of psychotic persona, but they do a fantastic job.
Well, yeah, even Dwight and Gavin, who we got to see. We'll talk about Gavin here in a minute. I mean, these generals, they've just done a really good job overall of the casting for the Saviors, and overall the TV show has expanded on the Saviors and how they work in a really great way. I've really enjoyed it. Seeing Simon and Dwight there kind of taking charge, Dwight reluctantly, and in leading things the way that they did, really was very interesting.
Yeah, no, it's been a fun ride seeing these like sort of background characters that we first met in the Saviors really develop into their own.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Gavin real quick. Morgan has visions. He's seeing things now. He's seeing Gavin, and he's saying, what is he saying? You know what it is?
You know who it is? Was it what it is or who it is?
I think it's you know what it is. And I think one time you said you know what to do. I should have wrote these things down.
Yeah, no, the Vision Quest thing was a little weird.
Well, Morgan's a little weird.
Yeah, that's putting it in an understatement. Especially now that they're jumping him off ship this season.
Yeah, they will be. What do you think about that though? What do you think that's all about?
Well, I have no guesses. Like it's just weird, Like there wasn't anything that really indicated to me what purpose this served in the show. It was just sort of, now you're having a Vision Quest.
Well, yeah, because he's kind of in between the two worlds that we know him to be in, which is the sane person, the peaceful person, the docile person, the docile Morgan, versus Mr. Clear, and he's sitting in between those two worlds, and I'm leaning towards him kind of regressing back and thinking, as far as Gavin saying, you know what to do, or you know what it is, whatever he's saying is like, you need to start clearing. You need to start killing people again. Be very interesting. This is a very interesting arc with Morgan. It's kind of a shame that we know he's going to come out of it with some amount of sanity. He's not going to die. This has been spoiled for us, which I guess is fine. But
yeah, well, and I don't think he's going to fully regress to clearing Morgan, and this is going to get into what we're going to talk in a little bit later. For that trailer for the fear, when he shows up,
right.
Obviously he's still not, total clearer, because he's able to carry on these conversations with the fear survivors.
Yep. Yeah. We're going to see him on fear. We're going to talk about the trailer after we talk about the show. All right, what else you got in your notes?
Simon versus Maggie. Maggie's position on, if she had any sort of regrets or mercy for those prisoners, I think that pretty much disappeared after Henry allowed for the prison break. What did you think that some of the prisoners stayed back, like they didn't try to escape? They were like re-erecting the fence.
Yeah, I think if the Saviors had made any attempt to try to get them, or if Simon wouldn't have just said "fuck those guys," I think they would have all left. But I mean, he had, they could hear Simon saying that to Maggie over the mic. A lot of them were right there next to her. I mean, in the zombie apocalypse, you got to go somewhere. She hasn't been treating them horribly.
No.
So, yeah, that made sense. There's that one guy, I don't know his name, but there's the one character, the one savior who's been talking, been a bit more outspoken. It's been kind of obvious they're going to do something with him.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? I mean, obviously, Henry knows he fucked up now, but what do you think the rest of the group's going to do to him?
Oh, they're going to take him out and back and tell him to look at the flowers. No, they should, though. God, what a little shit. Okay, ridiculous, cheesy thing number 3 from this week's show. Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong. I saw Henry take the gun.
Yeah.
But I never saw Henry take the keys.
No, I don't think they showed him taking the keys.
When did he get the key to the lock?
He could have gotten it any time in between whatever else was going on, theoretically.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you're laying the keys to the prison area just lying around for a 10-year-old to take.
You think he just pocketed them off of Maggie or something?
No, I think it's a lapse in writing.
Possibly.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, no one's leaving Henry to watch the prisoners anyways. I mean, him grabbing a gun is one thing because there's guns everywhere.
Yeah.
That I actually don't have an issue with that. It's like, all right, somebody wasn't looking, he grabs their automatic machine gun. I get that, but yeah, Sheriff Rick Grimes is not going to just be leaving the keys around for anyone to take.
No.
Or Maggie, for that matter. Yeah, that was very stupid. And not to mention the fact, a bit unnecessary. There was nothing he needed to do that he couldn't have done through that fence.
No, I mean, there were enough holes for a gun barrel. He could have just started shooting people until somebody confessed.
Yeah. The whole thing, that whole scenario really took me away from the show a bit. I just thought it was really dumb. And as soon as I saw him unlocking it, I'm like, where'd you get the keys? So I saw you take a gun. I didn't see you take the keys.
No.
This is dumb.
Let's see.
Can I just say real quick that they did an awesome job of exemplifying the stupidity that Henry was coming from to even show that Gregory's like, whoa, dude, you are out of control here. You're going a bit too far, and it's me. And I suck. And by the way, the actor for Gregory is the best. I love how much he makes us hate that character.
Yeah. No, he's doing a good job.
Okay.
So you want to talk about Tobin now?
Yeah. Well, he's dead.
Yeah. Kara puts him down. Carol. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah. Tobin was gonna die eventually.
Yeah, he sort of had that death look to him, but
he's been that. I have a name and I'm a recurring extra, and sometimes I get to do some extra stuff. But eventually, I'm going to die. He had that vibe the whole time we've known Tobin.
Yeah, he definitely did. So Tobin's dead. Daryl breaks the news to Tara. What do you think Tara's going to do?
About what?
Tobin. You think she's gonna go after vengeance?
I don't think that really mattered too much to her. I didn't notice anything. As far as I know, there's never been any special relationship between Tara and Tobin. Do you mean Carol?
No. Just it seemed weird that like Daryl specifically went to go tell Tara, right?
I think that was because they were trying to tell her nicely, "Hey, you may be infected and die."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That went over my head.
That's all right. That's why we're here. I
thought that maybe there was some like relationship between them that I had just totally forgotten about, so I jotted it down in my notes. I'm like, oh, Tara and Tobin.
No.
Must have totally been a thing that I didn't know about.
No.
All right.
Tobin Walker, by the way, was awesome.
Yeah, that was interesting.
He took out a few people.
He did indeed. Well, and it's always cool when you get to see one of these characters become Walker-fied.
Yep. Oh, he was a scary Walker too. They talked about. I caught a little bit of Talking Dead afterwards. They talked about. They had the actor who played Tobin on the show, and yeah, he did look like an awesome Walker.
Yeah.
All
so, you're chalking this up as a win for the Hilltop or the Saviors?
I guess as far as tactically, it was a win for the Hilltop. Well, no, I can't say that. It was a win for both. It was a win and a loss for both, because the Saviors ran off like bitches and got a bunch of their people shot up. But at the same time, the Hilltop lost a fair amount of people due to the Saviors' tactic, which they really couldn't see coming. It wasn't their fault, but tactically, consciously, they did a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but if you had to pick one, end of the day, who won the fight?
Oh, it's Hilltop.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got Maggie and Rick Grimes.
That's true. So, you anticipating a Hilltop counterattack, or you think the Saviors are going to come back and try for round 2?
I'm not going to say.
No, you got some magic comic book insight into this?
I've said too much already.
Alrighty. You want to talk about Fear, then?
Well, no, before we do that, let's rate the show.
Alright.
So, what are we going to rate it as? Let's see.
Infected arrows to the shoulder.
Yeah, let's go with Walker infected weapons. 1 out of 5 Walker infected weapons.
I give it 2.5.
Really? You're gonna give it 2.5? Okay, all right. I was gonna give it a 3. It's solid. It's a little bit better than average, I thought. So
I think my score just got brought down because of how much I liked last episode. Like we saw fight scenes done right. Like good tension, good. Yeah. Follow through, good payoff. This had like highs and lows. It wasn't a consistent good. So I think that's probably what brings my score down a little bit, is we know that they can do this right. It just feels like somebody dropped the ball in the direction.
Real quick before I go, there was one more cheesy thing I wanted to point out about the show.
Okay.
And that was when Rick was in the room with them talking about and discovering what the Saviors had done, and Rick goes into kind of semi-explain it to the audience detective mode, and he's like, when I saw Negan's bat and it was full of Walker guts, I figured he had just encountered some. Stop. There's no reason for you to think anything else. But instead, he's like, now it all makes sense. They covered their weapons with Walker guts, and that's why. Do you understand what I mean? It was a little too after school special. Explain it to the audience.
Yeah, there was a big jump in logic.
Right. So I think that's the major failings. You know what, Jason?
What?
Screw it. I'm giving it a 2.5.
All right.
We're at a 2.5. This episode. In fact, they're lucky I don't give it lower. There was some piss poor writing.
I thought it was weird that normally you're the harsher critic than I am. I'm like, I love TV, and you're like, no.
We'll give it. All right. We're each 2.5. I talked myself into 2.5. Okay. All right, the Fear trailer for season 4. You just watched it. I caught it last night. I've watched it. I also did just watch it though, but I caught it last night. You had not probably seen anything really when it came to Morgan going into the Fear show, had you?
Nope, I had not known anything. Actually, until we started doing this podcast, I had no idea Morgan was moving over. I think it was like episode 2 or 3 that we did that before the show. You told me.
Oh. Okay, yeah, Morgan's going over to Fear.
Yeah. We had this conversation like a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I know. You told me, motherfucker. All right. Yeah. Your first impressions of the season. Now. That being said, you're not caught up on Fear, are you?
I'm almost caught up on Fear. Just this most recent season, I'm not out.
Which is a shame because it's the best season, and a lot certainly happens. So, but that being said. You're gonna be all caught up in a couple weeks before it comes up.
Yep.
So what did you think of what you saw?
It's gonna be interesting. I look forward to seeing how Morgan interacts, because it seems from the trailer, he's talking about that Morgan will be moving on after the fight with the Saviors, or sometime during the fight with the Saviors, because he says verbatim, there was a whole lot of fighting going on back east, and I had no idea how to stop it.
Right.
So it seems like Morgan's gonna become more of the, maybe not the Rick, but like the crotchety old survivor. I have a feeling, and I hope that we're gonna get a lot more depth into his character than we already have. There is already a very big struggle between Morgan, and I hope we get more conflict into that, especially because Fear tends to, at least so far, be a little bit nicer to their characters than
you need to stop right there and watch the last season.
Oh, is it not very nice to its
It
characters?
was not very nice to its characters at all last year. You did not notice some of the people you were missing and why. Well, I'll come back and remind you of what you just said after you watch season 3.
Okay,
no,
well,
it's not. It's not
no?
nicer. No, it's not.
Well, I'm hoping we get to see Morgan, come back into that arc. It would be interesting to see Morgan sort of adopt another pseudo family to, try and replace his old one.
It's kind of funny because you see Morgan doing exactly what he's done a couple times in the past, where they're talking about settling and building something nice, and Morgan's like, "You're all gonna die.
You're all gonna die.
What do you? This is dumb. You know, like you said before, you'll either get ripped apart by bullets or bites or bullets."
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of Morgan we're gonna get. Obviously, we don't get the kill everything on sight Morgan.
No.
I think the days for clear Morgan might be done, but
I don't know. I think there is a possibility to bring it back.
Yeah,
especially if we have PTSD clear Morgan, where he'll sometimes go into clear mode.
Okay, well that could be true. That could be true.
Like flipping a light switch. Something triggers that clear mode in him, and we get to see the Fear character's reactions. Dude, he was beating the shit out of somebody at the end of that trailer.
Well, yeah, but he does that. That's what
yeah,
Morgan does.
Okay,
go ahead.
Yeah, that's not really what we've seen with this season of Morgan.
Oh.
He's not been beat the shit out of everybody for no goddamn reason.
I don't know. He was a little stabby, kill all the saviors.
Well, yeah, but that's what happens when you're in a war. You'd have to get a little stabby.
That's true. It's interesting because even though you haven't seen season 3 yet, obviously in order for Fear, which I think by the end of season 3 they had maybe gone 2 months into the zombie apocalypse, they were pretty much caught up to when Rick wakes up. We're going to jump about 2 years. In fact, we're going to jump more than 2 years from last season to where they're going to have to be to introduce Morgan. And I was really concerned about missing 2 years of story, but I think there's an opportunity here, and I think we're seeing an opportunity and a setup for the show where they're introducing some new characters, and they're going to play it off like, hey, this is where we're at now. I think there's an opportunity for them to tell the backstory of how they went from where they left at the end of season 3 to the beginning of season 4, and actually backtrack and do a lot of backtracking, almost, and I don't mean I want them to do it like this, but almost like Lost, where they do the
flashback sequences.
They do a lot of flashbacks,
yeah.
Or maybe they even spend the majority of an episode in a flashback or something, but something that leads them to that point. And I'm not saying I want them to do it like that or to have some kind of weird thing, but I'm just saying there's an opportunity here to do some different storytelling, and I'm on board for that. I think I would have rather seen this done a different manner. I still think that they should have kept them where they were, and instead of it being Morgan that they were meeting to do the big crossover, it would have been Abraham before he ever met the main group back in Texas. But whatever.
It also would have been interesting, although not really possible, to meet Morgan in between, when Rick leaves him in season 1 and when he shows up again. I would love to see Morgan turn into the cleaner. Wouldn't that be an interesting experience?
The cleaner?
The cleaner.
The clearer?
Yes.
The clearer.
Tomato.
Well, and actually, there's about a year that in between that time. But actually, there's more of a gap between when we see him in season 3 to when we see him again. I think at the end of 6. I think it was. I think there's even more time. There was a large gap of almost 200 days for one of them. But yeah, they could have gone down a different route. I thought it was very funny and interesting to see Morgan and Nick interacting together. There's some interesting dynamics there. I don't mind it. Morgan's a great character, and the actor that plays him is fantastic. But I think there could have been better ways that they could have gone. They can prove me wrong. Now a couple new characters, like you said. There's the kid or the girl in the giant armored vehicle.
Oh yeah.
Yep, cowboy person's new. The blonde is new. Somehow Nick and his girlfriend, I can't remember her name, they get back together. Who I don't think you've even ever met, or no, you met her through season 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that's there's a whole story there, because that's the only thing I'm gonna spoil for me from season 3. She's not even in most of season 3. She disappears, and now magically she's back. So it looks like they've got some kind of settlement figured out here. Different from anything that we've seen in the in the vanilla show, so I'm excited for it. It was exciting to see. I like how Fear does some more kind of fringe characters, and it's definitely not your bread and butter show. It's like this guy is a little bit weirder. Things are done just a bit differently, but they're also done a bit more crazily. Is that a word?
But I think that's why I enjoy Fear more, because it's a little more out there.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely can be.
The thing with the water slide, that they're going to at the beginning of the trailer, like with that sort of sadistic, happy tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't get that in the vanilla show anymore. It's all dark and bleary most of the time.
Yeah. And of course, we'll be going straight from the Walking Dead season 8 to Fear the Walking Dead season 4. In fact, I think, does it premiere the same? I think the season finale for 8's the same night as the premiere of season 4. If not, they're obviously back to back in weeks, but they might just be the same night.
Maybe.
Yeah, we have 3 weeks left of. I think they are the same night, because that would be. What was that? That'd be Sunday, Easter, for episode 14.
Yep.
April 8th for episode 15, and April 15th for episode 16. So yeah, there you are. The season finale and the season premiere are on the same night. That's what I thought when I did the scheduling months ago. That's what I thought I saw. So that'll be a fun night.
It'll be very exciting.
Yeah. Well, that's for you. So you got about 2.5 weeks or so to get caught up.
Oh, I'll get caught up.
You'll love it, dude. Season 3 of Fear brought it back. I mean, a lot of people had written off the show. It had a great first couple episodes, and then the story for the season kicks in, and it's really interesting. I know I told you a little bit of the premise, but it's a lot of fun. Season 3 is good.
All right, I'm very excited.
Yeah. All right, so if any final thoughts on the episode this week or the trailer?
No, I think we've wrapped everything up pretty well.
There it is. So I think the moral of the story this week is, it's funny. I saw a comment of this in social media, is that it's a fact now. Kids in the apocalypse are worthless and will get you killed. Just kill them off until things settle again, then start reproducing.
I think the moral of this episode is don't get shot.
Okay. Wouldn't that be the moral of every episode?
Maybe, but, I think that's a good moral lesson for life, kids. Don't get shot.
Yeah, you ever been shot at? That's definitely one you live by. Or if you didn't get shot up and you got shot, then that was something you didn't live by. That's something that you failed on.
Yeah.
All right, that's the morbidness for me for the week. All right, so that's it.
Alrighty.
Okay, so thank you for listening. If you let us know what you think about the episode, about the trailer. What do you think we got right? What do you think we got wrong from our reviews for the week? Go ahead and comment below. But until next week, this is Chris and Jason.
Logging off.
All right. See you guys later.
Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but it'd be great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksawmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.